Megan Hilt, and today I have a more serious video that I'm going to do. I've been meaning to do this video for a while, but it's taking a little more courage to do this particular video. So today I'm going to be talking about my struggles with primary and secondary lymphedema. And if you see all this stuff back here, today I am going through all of my son's old clothes that don't fit and his old toys that he no longer needs because he's a big boy now. So I'm going to put the definition of lymphedema on the screen, and I'm going to do that now. Okay, so now that you have got to read what lymphedema means, what it is, you may have never ever heard of it. It's something that people don't really talk about. It's not really, a lot of people don't even know what it is. A lot of doctors don't even know what it is. So now that you have read the definition, I'm going to talk about my experience with this. So I'm going to have to take you all the way back to my childhood. I was born with primary lymphedema, and the definition of primary lymphedema I'm going to put here. Okay, so I was born with primary lymphedema, and it was always a struggle. Mine manifested in having much bigger legs than everyone else did. I was teased about this forever. I never really wore shorts. You know, it was just, no one knew what was wrong because a lot of doctors, you know, like I said, don't really know about lymphedema, so it's hard to diagnose. So it started out with my legs being bigger, and then it moved into my arms being bigger. So you had my legs and my arms that were bigger. We have to move into right after high school. I had my gallbladder removed, and it was a laparoscopic surgery. So they did the little tiny cuts, and they took out my gallbladder, and that little bit of damage to the skin and the lymphatic system around my stomach was enough to give me very slight secondary lymphedema in my stomach. And also before that, I had started getting swelling in my chin. So let me put up the definition of secondary lymphedema. I'm going to put it over here. Okay, so we were up to my legs, my arms, my chin, my stomach, but it wasn't bad swelling in my stomach. It wasn't noticeable like it was everywhere else. So, I mean, it was getting worse, but it wasn't too bad. And then we move into May of 2014, and I had my son, and they had to do a C-section. And I thought that I had managed to not make it any worse, you know? I thought I had maybe avoided it. So we did a road trip up to Ohio to go show off my son to all of my family up there. I currently live in Florida. And so we got in the car, and we get up there, and none of my clothes fit that I had brought with me from down here. Nothing fit. So I got on the scale, 30 pounds of fluid around my stomach. So close. And it kind of stayed about the same the whole rest of the trip. I think we were up there a week. I don't think it was any longer than a week. So we come back home, and again I get home, none of my clothes fit, and I get on the scale, 15 additional pounds of fluid. So I'm not good at math, but 45 pounds of fluid in the course of a week. So I had to buy more clothes, and that was what triggered, I think, the really bad part of my postpartum depression. So diagnosed with postpartum depression as early as a week after I gave birth to my son, but it was really just hormones being incredibly imbalanced. And Then after that happened, it just, I mean, you can imagine, you already have this condition where it kind of warps your appearance, and then all of a sudden you have 45 pounds, well, pounds of fluid, additional pounds of fluid around your stomach. It's uncomfortable. It's embarrassing because now you look like you're pregnant again and you just gave birth. So that was what drove me to a really dark place in my life. So it took a very long time to get out of that. And like I said in my introduction video, makeup is what got me out of that dark place. Getting up in the morning and putting on makeup, playing with makeup, feeling beautiful again. Well, at least my face. That is what helped me get over this, depression that I had. So, now that you have read the definitions of primary and secondary lymphedema, I'm going to talk about the title of the video, why I entitled this, You're a Monster, You Should Kill Yourself, or whatever similar title I end up titling this, but that is a phrase I hear more than any other phrase. I don't hear a lot of other things. That's the one I hear the most. Because of what lymphedema has done to my arms and my legs and my chin and my stomach, I'm a monster. And people mention this to me when I go to Walmart, Target, and there's a select group of people too that I try to avoid when I'm out, because these are the people that do it to me. It is men, usually, between the ages of 15 and like 35. That is what I hear the most. I hear the word monster. And somewhat how I feel about myself. I do feel like I kind of have a fish looking appearance because of what this has done to my body. And I don't even have that bad of lymphedema yet. I'm not bedridden. I can still walk and dance, and I don't feel like I'm nearly as bad as other people. And I can just imagine what people say to them. And then no one should ever tell anyone else to kill themselves, because you don't know what someone's going through. When people were telling me this earlier when I had postpartum depression, I was really having suicidal thoughts, and nobody should tell someone that. You should never. It's a whole different video. But so basically, I live my life as a fat person. So I'm not really fat, but if you looked at me, you'd be like, oh, she's morbidly obese. She eats bad and she doesn't exercise. And blah, blah, blah. But it's not true. It's just kind of how I look. A lot of you probably think I'm just being sensitive, that people aren't actually making fun of me or staring at me or saying these things to me. But actually, I am very generous with how I treat people that stare at me. So, okay, I am a realistic person. That doesn't mean I'm negative. It means that I'm realistic. I know that if, for instance, if you're walking down the street and there's somebody that is 8 feet tall, it's human nature to look at that person, because they're different. You're going to be like, oh, that person is really tall. And then you're going to keep walking. Or you might go, okay, the person's walking past me. That person's really tall. Wait, did I really see that? Yes, that person's really tall. And then you're done. I give people two looks. I give them 2 looks. I give them the one initial look of, her body looks different than mine. What is wrong with her? And then I even give them the extra, oh yeah, she does look gross like I thought she did. Look, I give them 2 looks. You get 2 looks. If you look again, I'm gonna be mad. Don't look at me 3 times. I gave you 2 times. That's enough. I don't even care how long you look. I give you those 2 times. You can do this. You can stare, and then be like, okay, and then do it again, and I'm not gonna be mad. It's the additional all that extra stuff that makes me mad. So I just wanted to speak for all the people out there that have maybe a more unusual body appearance, in that I don't think we care if you look at us the first time, or maybe even the second time, because we realize that we're different. But when you look at us 5 and 6 times, and you make comments, and you point and you laugh and you stare and you take pictures, that is when we have a problem. You know, I realize that I look different. You know, I realize human nature is to look at something that's different because it's different. But control how many times you look at the person or something. You know, I don't know. I'm just rambling. I just really wanted to make this video, and it's not going well. If you get anything out of this video, out of this rambly video, I don't think I cried, so good job for me. But really want people to realize that this is a condition that lots of people have. Primary lymphedema you're born with. A lot of people don't realize they have it. They just think they have bigger legs or bigger arms, or they have one foot that's swollen and the other one isn't, you know. I wish people knew about this, because if you can catch it early, you can keep it from getting worse. And I never knew that. And I'll never get that chance. I'll never be... If you're watching this video and this kind of describes, like, you and your body, you know, you're saying, oh my goodness, my entire legs have been bigger my whole life. You should check into this. Check into this. You could have primary lymphedema. And secondary lymphedema, people understand a little better. The most common place for people to get secondary lymphedema is in their arms, after having a mastectomy. So they'll remove the breast tissue, and they'll remove a lot of lymph nodes by accident. Not by accident, usually. Sometimes they'll take too many. And that will cause you to have secondary lymphedema in that corresponding limb, corresponding arm. And at least in the United States, or, you know, different places like that, that is the most common reason people have secondary lymphedema. I just feel like I'm so much more than this disease. I'm so much more. It does not, it shouldn't be the thing that defines me, but for a lot of people it is. I'm the girl with the weird body. I'm the monster. I have had people say, if they looked like me, they would kill themselves. And what they don't know is that I feel like that a lot of times. I never thought it would get to this point where I look the way I do. And I realize that it's gotten so bad as a direct result of my last C-section, my first and last C-section. And, you know, I'm glad that I had my son. I'm glad, because I wouldn't trade him for anything. It's just sucky that something so wonderful and so great, something like that in my life, had to also bring all of this bad stuff too. But you know, I just wish there was a day when we would all look like what we're like on the inside. I don't know, that would be what I would want. It's unfair to have to live with something like this. And I do understand that, yes, I can walk. I have the use of my legs, and that is, I am very blessed that I can walk, and it's not that bad and stuff. But there's a lot of difficulty to having this. This is just, I'm sorry it's so rambling and stuff, and I guess I didn't make it without crying, so I'm sorry. But treat people a little better. Before you look at that person walking through Walmart and you say, like, look how ugly they are, or look how look at their stomach, or you go to take a picture and post it on Instagram or Facebook, which I think is the most horrible thing. If you take a picture of someone and you put it up without them knowing to make fun of them, I think that is just a horrible, horrible thing. And I just want everyone just to be a little nicer, you know? Yes, someone looking at me could think, I'm just a fat, lazy person that doesn't take care of my body. And that's not at all what's going on in my life, So you never know. You never know what someone's going through, or you never have all the facts. You never will, unless you get to know them. And someone that some of these symptoms describe them, or they've been trying to figure out what's wrong with them their entire life, and you think that this video may help them to realize that they have this disease. I would have loved if somebody would have come up to me when I was in high school and said, hey, I think you have lymphedema, you should check into this. Yes, I would have been horribly offended for like 5 minutes, and then I would have looked it up. I would have said, you know what? That sounds like me. And that would have been a really nice place for me to begin my search for what was wrong with me. Instead, it took years and years and years and years and years and years and tons of doctors. And so anyway, if you've been watching me for a little bit and you're like, oh, her chin's weird, it's all swollen. And I'm able to drain that, but that's about the only thing I can really work on myself. So if you notice extreme fluctuations in my facial appearance, that is because of lymphedema, one of the areas that it affects. So this was a long video. Thank you so much, and this is Megan Hilt out.